Okay, so now it's May 31st, 5:46 a.m. And as I listen to what I just taped of the Doors Unhinged book, so things come across to me as what's trying to be communicated that I missed. For example, Jim Morrison is trying to tell me um, about the devastation and shame associated with these enforced sexual encounters that he had. Probably in the thousands when he was in captivity, right? So this is the last tape, 32, when I body intent on making art, not a bunch of individuals we stood for in the beginning. We used to be a collective body intent on making art, not a bunch of individuals mainly out for ourselves or for the money. Perhaps if Jim hadn't made such a point of us being a band of brothers, we wouldn't be here in this historic courthouse at all. But he did, and it resonates with me still. Yeah. So that's what I mean. And also, and I want to point out in the movie as well, certain things where Jim Morrison is pointing out exactly, what was going on. Yeah, I'm sure it was devastating. Numerous homosexual encounters, and he's saying, now the thing with JFK Jr. So he went through the same sort of degrading, and he went through the same thing that JFK Jr. went through. But there's something in here that I want to show you with regard to. Okay, so a guy with an afro, who, and I think it's a reference to JFK Jr. What I said about Imus said about the pose. Now I don't know if you notice this here. It says criminal. The C is missing from criminal court. Criminal. I don't know what that means.
The Doors had passed.
Okay. All right. So I just missed it. All right.
Finally, on April 4th, 1960.
All right. And this is where he said we're arguing freedom of artistic expression. Now I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. So that was it. So I just missed it.
Finally, on April 4th, 19...
There is the issue of artistic freedom of expression.
But the prosecutor, Terrence McWilliams, seems preoccupied with sex. He keeps returning to the oral copulation charge.
There, okay. So, Jim Morrison, again, this is what, I'm sure that this is, and of course, this stupid thing with regard to the Ann Romney farting tweet, tweeting farting noises. I'm sure this is what's going on, right? So, this, a lawsuit with regard to his captivity. So, okay. And also, all right, so let me
Jim explains he was down on his knees simply to admire Robbie's intricate fingerwork. But Williams scoffs, saying Jim must have seen Robbie perform this solo hundreds of times. Jim replies, well, Robbie gets better and better all the time. Although a comedy of errors, the trial is no joke.
Okay, so now here, this is what I said. Remember when I said? Now I'm not sure if you're saying something about JFK Jr. that you were in some kind of movie with JFK Jr. or you knew about JFK Jr. I'm not sure, but this guy here makes me think of what I said. I missaid about JFK Jr. posing on the cover of some magazine with an afro and a machine gun.
30th, 1969. Morrison is found guilty of profanity and indecent exposure.
Jim, you have anything to say?
And here's a guy, okay. And here's a guy laughing. He's laughing. Black guy in the background laughing.
Judge Murray Goodman sentences Jim to 4 months of hard labor.
So I think Jim Morrison is worried about what I'm going to think about this. But when you say Williams, first of all, that's the, and I referred to him numerous times. When I worked at PR Newswire, he was the vice president of sales, John Williams, and I based the character in my play, Canis Major, on him. A couple people in my office. Yeah, so the black guy in the background laughing is like, yeah, well, mocking Jim Morrison. So, yeah, the whole thing is a terrible travesty. But I certainly, and I, yeah, it's just terrible. I don't think any. I think, I don't think any less of Jim Morrison. Let me put it that way. Okay, so. And also, okay, so let me continue with this, because I think you're trying to tell me something about my uncle, Bob Court, who died when I was, he died when I was like 24, 25, right after my cousin's, Leslie's wedding, at which I was a bridesmaid, and I wore the hat. And, I had occasion, I talked to him, he was in his late 40s, and he died soon after that. And, so when I see in here, where is it now? Did I pass it already? I guess I passed it. Well, anyway. Okay, let me go back. Okay. You know what? Let me stop. Let me stop this here, and then I will. When I find it, I will film a separate segment.